Less than 1 minute to go to kick off this individual event number 3 here. And in this first heat on lane 1, we have Francisco Godinho. Lane 2, Stefano Di Francesco. Lane 3, Rob Schilacci. Lane 4, Frederick Husson. 30 seconds. Lane 5, Amin Atala. Lane 6. Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen. This is day 2 at the Meridian Regional here in Madrid, Spain. We have the individual male athletes now taking the field for individual event number 3. This event is 3 rounds of muscle-ups, handstand walks, and single leg squats. The athletes will start their round with 9 muscle-ups on the rings. Follow that by a handstand walk over those obstacles on the floor. And in the first round, they will do 36 one-legged squats, alternating their legs after every squat. They will handstand walk their way back to the rig, and then they will begin their second round. Lane number 9, Rick Smith. One of the first men onto those one-legged squats. Amin Atala, lane 5, also working on that first set. 36 repetitions here. The athletes will do their first 18 reps in that first box on the floor, and then move forward for the next second set of 18.
Vamos a recordar que el event record lo hizo Matt Fraser con 7 minutos y 34 segundos. Reventó el evento número 3 individual en la segunda semana y solo 103 personas de 195 han conseguido finalizarlo.
And it is going to be Amin Atala on lane 5, the first man to move his chest piece forward. And now he has to walk back to the rig over the 2 obstacles, and the walk has to be on his hands. Now it's Nicola Pertucci, lane 8, moving that chest piece forward. He's currently second place in the heat. And Rick Smith on lane 9, advancing his chest piece and starting to make his way back towards the rig. And it is Amin Atala, the first man to get back to the rings for his next set of 9 muscle-ups. For these muscle-up reps to count, the athlete must start from a full extension at the bottom, so hanging with feet off the ground, arms straight. They must pass through a portion of a dip on the way up. And at the top, they have to have full lockout of the arms on top of the rings before they lower themselves down for the next repetition.
Vamos a animar, a punto de finalizar el primer obstáculo, Rubén Insúa en la calle número 6, pero Amin Atala en la calle número 5 es el atleta que va adelantado del resto.
The world record for this event is held by Matt Fraser at 7 minutes and 34 seconds. The time cap is 13 minutes, and now we're coming up on 5 minutes as Amin Atalla is on his second round of single leg squats. 45 repetitions here, 15 in each section of the floor.
Vamos a destacar que Matt Fraser finalizó los 45 pistols en 4 minutos y 19 segundos.
Lane number 8, Nicola Bertucci trying to clear that second obstacle in his second round, and he does so now. And he's going to start on his 45 single leg squats. As Amin Atalla on lane 5 is already on his last set of 15. It's Amin Atalla, lane 5, dragging that chest piece forward again, and he's going to get started on his way back towards the ring to begin his last round from the rings. 7 minutes in, we've got still 6 minutes to go before that 13-minute time cap.
Calle número 5, Amin Atalla, dominando la prueba con facilidad. Handstand wall sin ningún tipo de problema. Vamos, Rubén Insúa, calle número 6 a punto de finalizar. ¡Vamos, Rubén! ¡Sí, señor!
Eight minutes in, 5 minutes to go. Nicola Bertucci, lane 8, done with his second round of single leg squats. As Frederic Husson on lane 4 is also finishing up that second round of those squats.
Vamos a respetar la opinión de los jueces, por favor.
The athlete must have both of their hands over the line by walking so that they cannot throw themselves over the line. That's in the rules here, so the judge had a great call there.
Centramos las miradas en Amin Atalla, camiseta negra, pantalón gris, últimas 54 single leg squats, pistols.
It is still Amin Atalla leading the way. He's on lane 5. And he only has 3 more sets of 9 single leg squats to do.
Últimas 9 repeticiones para Amin Atalla. Vamos a animarle todos. Últimas repeticiones cuando estamos a 2 minutos y medio del final.
Amin Atalla now in the last section of the field. He only has less than 5 reps to go, and he's going to be the first male athlete here to get this event number 3 done. And Amin Atalla finishing in 11:12 unofficially.
I just wanna make you sweat. I wanna make you sweat. I just
90 seconds to go.
I wanna make you sweat. Sweat. I just wanna make you sweat. I wanna make you sweat. I just wanna make you sweat. I wanna make you sweat. Sweat. Sweat.
1 minute to go.
When
30 seconds to go until the time cap. Ladies and gentlemen, please make some noise. Help these athletes out. They will need all the help you can give them. Come on, ladies and gentlemen, make some noise. Come on, let's go. The CrossFit style used to cheer on everyone, remember that. 10 seconds. 3, 2, 1. That does it for heat number 1. Amin Atalla sets the time to beat in this heat. 3 more heats to come, still here on the male side. Just a quick turnaround reset on the floor and we'll bring heat 2 out.
Did
30 seconds.
Still got scars on my back from your knife, so don't think it's in the past. These kind of wounds, they last and they last.
And this is our second heat right here. And on lane 1, it is Yavuz Senturk. Lane 2, Davide Arici. On lane 3, Andre Houdet. Lane 4, Basil Katamesh. Lane 5, Sam Lovin. On lane 6, it's Alex Evans. Lane 7, Guillaume Magnois. Lane 8, Daniel Sherbakov. Lane 9, Sam Parkin. And on lane 10, Joao Ferreira.
Ya tenemos el primer atleta haciendo los pistols, perdón. Sam Parkin, camiseta blanca, calle número 9. Junto a Alex Evans en la calle número 6, calle central. Toman la iniciativa. ...36 pistols en la ronda número 1, 45 pistols en la ronda número 2 y 54 en la tercera.
Sam Parkin, lane 9, the first man to advance his chest piece, and he's going to start walking back towards the rig on his hands, and he's making this look really easy on those obstacles. No problem for Sam Parkin, lane 9. And Alex Evans, lane 6, not far behind. He's making his way back towards the rig now as well. Lane number 9, Sam Parkin already back on the rings for his second round of 9 muscle-ups. Sam Parkin, lane 9, done with his 9 muscle-ups on that first round, and he's going to start handstand walking back towards that single leg squat station. 2 obstacles to clear. And now Alex Evans also ready with his muscle-ups on the second round. So it's Parkin 1, Evans 2, currently here in this heat number 2.
Segundo puesto para Alex Evans en la calle número 6. Detrás de Sam Parkin, que domina claramente la situación, la prueba en este hit, con el dominio del handstand walk. Últimos 15 pistols de esta ronda de 45.
Lane number 9, Sam Parkin on his last 15 single leg squats. On that second round, he advances his chest piece forward. That means once he's done with his handstand walk, he will begin his last round. Right now in the heat, Sam Parkin still leading the way. Alex Evans holding on to the second place. And third place is Davide Arici. He's on lane number 2.
Y ahora sí da comienzo la tercera y última ronda de Sam Parkin. Camiseta blanca de tirantes, calle número 9. 9 más laps. El recorrido de handstand walk de ida. Y 54 pistols.
Now Alex Evans advancing his chest piece forward. Davide Arici also lane 2 advancing his chest piece. And Sam Parkin is done with his last set of muscle ups. He only has one more handstand walk trip to go and 54 single leg squats to finish off this event number 3 here. We are right now at 8 minutes and a 13-minute time cap for this event. Sam Parkin really strong here on the handstand walk. But that overall fatigue is starting to catch up with him. He has to break that walk a little bit. And Alex Evans is now back on the rings for the final time. Sam Parkin, 54 single leg squats to go. This last round, the athletes will perform 9 squats at each section of the floor. And then they only need to just finish across the line to get the time. With Sam Parkin, only 27 reps to go for him. He's halfway through this last set of 54 single leg squats. Lane 6, Alex Evans also on his way back on that obstacle course for the final time. And now Sam Parkin, lane number 9, down to his last 9 repetitions. Only a few more to go for him, and he's gonna grab a heat win here and set the new time to beat at 10 minutes and 37 seconds unofficially. And now lane number 7, Guillaume Magnois, on his last set of those single leg squats. And here comes Alex Evans, lane 6. So these gentlemen side by side here working through these single leg squats on the final round. seconds to go. One minute to go. Now is Davide Arici is also in the mix here. Not a lot of squats for him to do either, but it looks like it's going to be Guillaume Manuel, lane 7, taking second place in the heat. 9 more to go for Guillaume on lane 7. Few more to go. Guillaume Manuel is the next man to finish lane 7. 20 seconds to go.
Últimos 20 segundos, público. Vamos a animar a los atletas. La gente de Donosti, la gente de
10
Norte también.
seconds. 3, 2, 1. There we go for your heat number 2. So Sam Parkin sets the new time to be here at 10 minutes and 35 seconds unofficially.
Heat number 3 coming up right now at Caja Mágica. Brandon Domain, Mads Jakobsen, and Nikki Brazier with you. And after one day, the big story on the men's side, Elliot Simmons having that turnaround from the ending of last year.
He's doing a great job of putting himself in a position where he'll be able to go to the games. We've talked to him all year, and what he's been telling us is he's really worked on filling out these holes.
As he won event number 1, he's held on to that points lead at 180. Willie George, Mohamed Alomda, and Phil Hesketh rounding out the top 4 that will be advancing to the games at the end of the weekend.
Exactly. We do have a couple of really great athletes with a lot of potential sitting right outside there, though. They need to defend these positions. The event number 3 is 3 rounds per time of 9 muscle-ups, then a handstand walk, then onto 36, 45, 54 single leg squats, and then onto a handstand walk. The time cap for the event is 13 minutes.
Here in heat number 3, we'll see the athletes ranked 11th through 20th after day number 1. And there's a couple of surprising names in this one, including in lane number 5, Ron Duvenage.
We were kind of thinking that he may be in a different position. He didn't have the outing that he wanted in event number 1, but he's looking to catch up today.
Stand by.
And away we go with heat number 3. The time to beat, 10 minutes, 37 seconds, as we've had 5 of 19 athletes in our first 2 heats able to beat that 13-minute limit.
It is a really tricky event, and the handstand is really making it hard for some of these athletes. And there are a couple of things that I think that'd be good for them to think about as they move through this event. One of these things is, the first thing is control the handstand. Don't go too fast. Make sure that you're in control of it all the time. A lot of these events previously have been about distance or speed on the handstand. This is all about balance. Next thing is pacing the pistols. Now the pistols is going to be a nuisance to these athletes, but this is where they want to go pace it, make sure the breathing is okay so they're not labored when they come back to the handstand walk. And the last one is hurry up and rest. So be decisive and be really like attack the movements, rest a little bit in between. Attack the movements, rest a little bit in between.
Out in front after an unbroken strength on both of those obstacles is AJ Visser, who continues to just catch our eye in some of these events.
I mean, we thought initially that this was a weightlifter. Like I said yesterday, I think it's about time we realized this is a CrossFitter with weightlifting capacity.
So Visser out in front, second place to the single leg squats, Ron Duvenage. Again, one of those athletes that, with those 4 spots available at the end of the weekend, he was one of the favorites and much talked about coming in. He enters this event in 11th, 34 points out.
And I think he has all the potential. I think there's a good reason for all the hype around this young man. The reason that he's in the position he is right now is that event number 1 really wasn't in his wheelhouse. I think he's capable of doing better, and if he gets another chance, he will do that.
27th in the opening event, 3rd in event number 2 to close out day 1. Now you notice the athletes took a step forward at some point. That's because after the midway point in this opening round of 36, they will step forward. They'll also bring the chest piece over when they complete a round, as demonstrated by AJ Visser a moment ago. He continues to lead the way.
And I'm impressed with AJ Visser in the fact that his handstand is as strong as it is. He's also doing a great job of controlling it. He was about to come off the side a little bit, just took it easy, took a little step back, and here he is again, opting to go all the way.
And he is through into round number 2. This is about the same pace we saw for the event leader Sam Parkin in heat number 2. He was through round 1 at 2:22, 2:29 the opening round for Visser.
And I think we're going to see a lot of these athletes are going to try to go unbroken on their muscle ups. You're going to see some breaking it up as well. And that's not necessarily because they can't do these 9 muscle ups unbroken. They're just trying to save themselves to be able to have that control that we talked about a second ago on the handstand walk. You see Ryan Duvenosh is checking out where AJ was at right there. And it's kind of funny, like, when you think about it. Like we said, we saw Duvenosh just check out where was AJ Visser at, and obviously he wants to know. But what he needs to remember is that time that put up in the previous heat by Sam Parkin. Sam Parkin was blistering fast, and that's a pace that these athletes are going to be challenged to hold up or to keep up with.
Visser once again going for back-to-back obstacle walks. Slowing this time on the incline. He'll make it to the staircase, and he's going to come down. He's got to go back to that yellow line. Got a bit of a smile there on that one, maybe knowing, all right, that was a little aggressive. Now, once you clear that yellow line with both hands, that becomes your restart point. When you kick back up, both hands have to be behind that line, and okay, that's 2 in a row, and that's a little bit troubling.
That is a little bit troubling, and we're seeing him go a little bit faster. I think he's starting to feel the pressure of Ryan Duvenosh right behind him. And I think that's why he's trying to make it up and go a little bit faster, but you need to control the pace on the handstand walk. This obstacle is not going to allow you to sprint unless you are, well, extremely sufficient.
And while Visser takes now a 4th attempt at that second obstacle, Duvenosh will move into the lead, but it's also going to be joined by Justin Swart in lane number 10 in the red shirt. So look at Justin, who enters this event in 20th, but still 20th and only 62 points away from the 4th spot.
It's all open, and not just that. I mean, he's looking to have a good performance right here. It looks like something that he's practiced, something he feels comfortable with. And when you find that event, go out there and make a splash.
And here in the 3rd round, 45 single leg squats. They'll advance after completing every 15 reps. So it's Duvenosh in 1st, Swart in 2nd, Visser 3rd, and Alexander Anasagasti in 4th. They're the lone 4 working on the pistols in round 2. Here's Visser on the near side, Duvenosh in the black shorts, no shirt. Orange shirt, black shorts for Anasagasti, and red and black for Swart.
So slightly different technique by these 2 athletes. On the right of your screen here, you've got Ryan Duvenosh and you've got Justin Swart on the left side. And you see Ryan is opting to hold on to his foot. The reason he's doing that is to make sure that his heel doesn't drop as he initiates the push back up to standing again. Because if his heels do touch the ground, it'll be a no rep. So it's just to make sure that doesn't happen.
So Swart out in front. It's going to be a tight race for 2nd between Duvenosh and Anasagasti. Swart opting to come down after clearing the yellow line, so he now has that as his restart point.
Swart was initially planned to be one of the athletes on the Cape CrossFit Wolfpack team, but then qualified as an individual athlete, and he's doing really great.
That team doing just fine, even without Swart, who's having a solid weekend thus far through the opening day, as they're in the top 4 going into the final day of team competition.
Gives you a little bit of an indication of the depth in that box.
Third place once again for Visser, as Anna Sagasti struggling on the handstand walk, but first place Justin Swart on the left, second place Ron Duvenage in second on the right. Maybe drawing level with each other. It looked like a bigger set to start off this third round for Duvenage.
Ryan Duvenage looks really comfortable on the rings in these muscle-ups, and as I said before, he can string together 9 reps, no problem. What he needs to remember, though, is the handstand walk coming up, and he's doing really, really good at partitioning that work for that reason. So Justin Swart on the left side of your screen, now on the top of your screen, is making his way over the obstacle there, the handstand walk.
Swart's been pretty consistent on day number 1, 20th in event 1, 17th in event number 2, but he's in line to possibly be first place with 1 heat remaining, as he's on to the final portion of this event, 54 single leg squats, advancing every 9 reps. Duvenage has just completed the first half of the handstand obstacle walk, 2 minutes, 17 seconds away from that time to beat set by Sam Parkin, 1 heat to go, 10 minutes, 37 seconds.
And he's got a great rhythm on these pistols, just shifting the balance from one leg to the other. He's got the Anna Sakamoto little wave with the arms as well. I think she introduced it way back in the day.
And he's actually got some of the smoothest reps we've seen from anybody, even going back the past couple of weeks. It just looks very controlled.
It does.
So again, Swart on the left, out in front. He'll have about a 25-second advantage over Duvenage on the right side of the screen in second. Ron opting to go for the lifters. It's a typical flat trainers for Swart.
And I think it all depends on what kind of mobility you have in your ankles, but also what you feel most comfortable with.
Now, while Swart is moving smoothly, moving quicker is Duvenage, and it's now a 9-rep differential out of what was 16 or 17 reps by the time Duvenage got to the single leg squats. Again, first and second respectively on the screen, left to right. Swart on the left, Duvenage on the right. A no rep for Swart, and now it's only an 8-rep differential between the two. It might be too little too late for Duvenage, but he's made a race out of this one, and Swart again getting a no rep.
It's all it takes to open up the door to Ryan Duvenage.
And it will be enough. Justin Swart will have the top time with 1 heat remaining at 9 minutes, 56 seconds unofficially. As Duvenage will be second in the heat, second in the event, going into heat number 4 at 10 minutes and 5 seconds. AJ Visser appears to be our next finisher. And in the orange shirt, and we had this update from Nikki Brazier on day number 1 about the issues for Anna Sagasti coming into this competition, having some hip problems, and he's being walked off the floor, and having a chat with some of the medical staff, and that is definitely not good. You can imagine having a hip issue coming in, what the issue may be there.
I mean, I just like that they're taking care of him right there. I mean, there's so much potential in this young man. I want to see him come back again next year, so hoping he's okay.
Final few reps for AJ Visser, as it appears that the day is done and likely the weekend is done. And let's go to Nikki Brazier for an update.
The head judge, obviously he was in pain, he was having trouble squatting. We know that from his injuries coming into this. He popped his hip on a squat clean last Saturday and had trouble walking, trouble moving around. You do need to show intent to continue doing the movements down here on the floor. So if he found a point where he could not continue, he would be walked off.
And thank you, Nikki, as that is happening at this moment. He has walked off the floor, so that is likely the end of the weekend for Anna Sagasti, and honestly, you mentioned it. He's a young athlete. There's a future for him, as he did show those signs of just having a lot of good moments ahead for him.
And he said it coming in as well, that's all he wanted. He wanted to come here, learn, wanted to have a good outing, considering that he had popped his hip. So I'm not happy to see him leave, but I'm happy that he's still doing it on his own accord.
Only man actively working on the single leg squats in the round of 54. It's going to be Pedro Bartolo, and that's a name that we mentioned a lot when it came to event number 1, where he finished 3rd place in triple threes, but it was a 36th place in event number 2. That has him mired back into the 17th position, still just 52 points away from the top 4. Don't believe he'll have enough time to complete this event within the time cap. But again, we've only had 5 in the first 2 heats, 3 in this heat able to do so. So he will be right around 10th place with 1 heat remaining, as we're in our final few seconds before the 13-minute time cap.
3, 2, 1.
Pedro Bartolo doing a good job at not leaving too many reps out there on the floor, considering there's a penalty for every rep remaining to be done at the cap.
Well, Justin Swart, once again, one of the top finishers in a heat. He did it in event 1. He does it again in event number 3 as he leads the way with 1 heat left.
He did a great job. Justin was doing really, really well. It started out to be a fight in between AJ Visser and Ryan Duvenage. And Justin Swart was just on his own out there on the side, making sure to keep in his own pace, doing a great job on the handstand walk, and just slowly inched his way by both AJ Visser and Ryan Duvenage. And then handstand looking good. Found a great rhythm on the pistols as well. And that's what got him in the position where he was able to just sneak by everybody else and hold on to that lead.
And he is the first and only man thus far at the Meridian Regional to go sub-10. Heat number 4 of 4 and the first of 2 tests on the middle day of competition for the men of the Meridian Regional of the 2018 Reebok CrossFit Games. And this one, the shortest event they've seen thus far.
And so the event we've got coming up is event number 3. It's 3 rounds of 9 muscle-ups, handstand walk, then on to 36, 45, and 54 single leg squats, then on to handstand walk. The cap is 13 minutes.
And in heat number 4, your points leader, Elliot Simmons, will be in lane number 5. But the big story in terms of our surprise, and we seem to have one every single week when it comes to regionals, 604th in the world coming in, but number 3 after day number 1, Mohamed Alomda will be in lane number 4.
And we want to see whether this rower can do well in the handstand walk as well.
.956, the new time to beat, as we've had just 8 of 29 athletes able to beat the time cap thus far here in event number 3.
Well, I'm looking, as we talked about, I'm looking forward to see how Mohamed Alomda does in this. I'm also looking forward to Willie George. I know that Willie George has been out there and he was a little bit nervous and a little bit hesitant about the handstand walk. It has been an issue in the past. We're going to have to see how Willie George does in this, because I saw him in the warm-up area and he's looked good.
And he's opting to break up this opening set of muscle-ups, and how does that fall when it comes to your keys for this event?
Well, so the keys is to control the handstand walk, and I think one of the keys is to control the handstand walk, and I think it's smart for him to break it up so that he can go out there, remain that control, good balance with fresh shoulders. After that, I'd like all of them to pace the pistols. Make sure that you don't get any no reps, you're not jumping out of the space that you're supposed to be in, but also not forcing your breathing at all. Then last one is hurry up and rest. Hurry up, attack the movements, rest a little bit in between to make sure that you can recover and maintain good technique.
Jonas Mueller in lane number 8, the bottom of those gray lanes on the top of the screen. The first man through the handstand walking into the single leg squats. Behind him, it's Rasmus Anderson and Lucas Esslinger, the top 3 getting to that set of 36. After rep 18, they'll take a step forward to the next segment of the floor.
And Rasmus Andersen went on social media this morning and said that he was looking forward to this event and showing that big men can do gymnastics as well. Talked to him in the warm-up area and he's like, I may not set a world record, but I think it's a fun event. Considering his experience and his exposure to competition altogether, I think that's a great way to enter this event. And Jonas Müller right here, one of the shorter athletes, so it doesn't have to have to stand all that much weight up the same way Rasmus Andersen does. But Jonas Müller, beside that, is just really methodical and moving his balance very well from one side to the other.
First through the single leg squats will be Lucas Esslinger. Mueller in second, Anderson in third, as they make their way back to the second handstand obstacle walk of 5 that they'll have to do in this event. So Esslinger on the left in the dark clothing. It's the neon yellow shoes for Rasmus Andersen. He'll be easy to spot through this one.
The Danish flag on his knee pads as well.
And Andersen choosing to go unbroken for both portions of this, as does Mueller, and Mueller's going to retake the lead. 2.5 minutes for basically all 3 of them to complete the opening round.
It's a great race between completely different athletes altogether. Jonas Müller, a powerhouse, but a slightly shorter athlete. Rasmus Andersen, the heaviest athlete we have out here, and a tall guy as well. And then somewhere in between, on a little bit on the taller side, you got Lucas Esslinger. Just the constant mathematical approach and just a systematic way of executing these events. I'm looking forward to see what pays off for who.
All of them opting to break up this second set of 9 ring muscle ups.
And I think it's smart. I think it's smart to do that just to make sure that you don't have any fatigue issues in your shoulders on that handstand walk. It is a completely different animal once there's an obstacle in your way.
So these 3 athletes, first, second, and third here in the final heat. They're also 5th, 6th, and 7th in the point standings. The first 3 athletes sitting outside of that top 4 window that'll advance to Madison at the end of the weekend.
You know that you know exactly what they're trying to do. They're trying to do whatever they can to bring themselves back on the other side of that line. And right now they're doing everything right.
Rasmus said it on social media. He wants to prove big men can handle some gymnastics, and he's looking to go unbroken for the 3rd consecutive time, and he does. And for the first time in this event, Rasmus Andersen out in front.
And feast your eyes on the speed of Rasmus Andersen's pistols as well.
Of note, Jonas Mueller, he only had one hand clear that red line. He has to kick back down and go back to the restart point, and that opens a window for Andersen and Esslinger to pull away, as Mueller again faulting on the handstand walk, this time on the incline ramp.
And at the same time as Jonas is having a little bit of a struggle on the incline there, both Rasmus and Lucas looked like they've found their stride.
Here in the round of 45, advancing every 15 repetitions, so they're in the middle grouping of 15. Make it the final 15 for Rasmus Andersen. In the background, see Elliot Simmons moving into the 3rd position. He has just quietly just had this solid finish every single time, making his way through the field.
I like watching Elliot Simmons and how he executes his events as well. Always seems to have a great plan and always sticks to it, trusting that in the end, great execution is going to get him there, and I think so.
So while Simmons holds the 3rd position, it is a solid lead for Rasmus Andersen as he's through the 2nd set, the 45 portion of single leg squats, and making his way back to the handstand walk for the 4th of 5 times in this event. And this is the first time we've seen Andersen fault on the handstand walk. And just like that, side by side, and both of them taking a moment trying to get up the steps. And that was some great control from Andersen. That took a long time for him to get over that 2nd step.
It really does, and I think Lucas Esslinger probably saw the window of opportunity open up as Rasmus came off to the left side of the obstacle right there and went in just a little bit too fast.
So Andersen is 20 seconds quicker than what we saw in heat number 3 through two rounds. 6:30 was the pace for Justin Swart, 6:10 that pace for Andersen. Also quicker than that pace is Esslinger as he's on to round number 3 as well.
I guess the consensus is that big men can do gymnastics as well. Rasmus Andersen and Lucas Esslinger are proving that right here.
So for Anderson, he came into this event the first man outside of the top 4. Keep that in mind, only 4 advanced from the Meridian Regional at the end of the weekend. He was 8 points behind 4th place Phil Hesketh, who is working on the set of 45 pistols. So this could be a big points moment for Anderson. Esslinger came in 7th, 18 points out.
They're both still definitely in contention, and they've got to be very happy with the performance that they're putting on right here.
This will be the final time that Anderson will have to do the length of the handstand obstacle walk. Little over 2 minutes until the time to beat of 9 minutes, 56 seconds. Esslinger comes down. Anderson over the decline, nearly lost it. He'll control it past that yellow line, and he's reached the halfway restart point.
A great job of regaining the composure right there and make it across the line for Rasmus Andersen.
Now in white and gray that you saw a moment ago in that shot is Elliot Simmons trying to get the camera crew out of the way as he wants to get onto the ramp. In white and gray, kneeling down at this point, and that top blue lane is Phil Hesketh, as he is in what I believe is 7th or 8th in the heat. Keep in mind, he's the bubble athlete, 8 points ahead of Anderson in 5th. Here's a look at Hesketh. Also struggling in this one is Mohamed Alomda, who came into this in 3rd, 16 points ahead of Anderson. Alomda bringing up the rear of the field, 10th out of the 10 here in the heat.
And as we look at Mohamed right here, Rasmus Andersen is out here trying to finish off his pistols. There he is.
Nearing the halfway point. He's got 1 minute to get through the final 30 or so reps of these single leg squats. 9:56 the time to beat. Wasn't too far behind, was the 2nd fastest time thus far of 10:05. Esslinger onto these single leg squats, and he's got company as Elliot Simmons has moved 2 reps back. Here in the final set of 54, they'll advance every 9 repetitions. Esslinger's reps moving a little bit quicker than Simmons, but I don't believe it'll be enough time for either of them to catch Rasmus Andersen, who's in his final 18.
Rasmus Andersen, the combination of just, a good game plan, a lot of strength, good gymnastics, and the Danish flag on his knee sleeves. I can't say that enough.
Well, he called his shot on social media saying he wants to prove that big men can handle some gymnastics. He's got 10 seconds to get through the final few reps. And he will get the event win, and big men indeed can handle some gymnastics. An event win to start day number 2 for Rasmus Andersen.
That's great execution right there. Great execution. Set himself up great on the handstand walks and held on to that. And here Lucas Esslinger is on a sprint with his fine finishing pistols.
A couple times have already gone by from heat number 3. But this should be good for 4th in the event if he can hang on to it, and he does. 10 minutes, 22 seconds. 4th in event number 3. And that's going to be big for the athlete coming into this in 7th. Meanwhile, the points leader, 5th fastest time thus far, will be around 11:06. So it looks to be a 3rd consecutive top 5 finish to start the competition for Elliot Simmons.
Elliot doing an amazing job with this as well. I mean, it's just the gymnastics, the handstand walks were a little faster for both Esslinger and for Rasmus Andersen as well. And then that sprint on the pistols set him up nicely.
That bottom blue lane, you see Mohamed Alomda finishing up round number 2 on the single leg squats in the 10th position in this heat, as we're within 2 minutes until that 13-minute time cap. Other athlete that was on the bubble entering today in 4th, Phil Hesketh, working on the set of 54. He's got company in the form of Stefano Songa, and now Jason Smith as well in lanes 9 and 10 respectively. So Hesketh in white and gray. Stefano Songa in the neon shoes. Jason Smith on the far background of the screen. Jonas Mueller, one of the early leaders, has made his way into the race. And we got 4 athletes within about 18 reps of each other in this final set of 54 with 1 minute until the cap.
And Jason Smith at the top of your screen is flying through his pistols. Phil Hesketh doing a great job right now, but Jason is chasing him with everything he's got.
And he's going to get back-to-back no reps there because he went to the next leg. If you get a no rep on the right leg, you still have to do a rep on that right leg. If you do one straight to the left, it doesn't count either. So 18 reps to go for Phil Hesketh as he's trying to hold off Jason Smith, who's moved into the 5th position in this heat, just ahead of Stefano Songa. Jonas Mueller is possibly moving faster than anybody in this race. Hesketh into the final 9. 20 seconds remaining until the time cap. Final 9 now for Jason Smith. Fourth in the heat will go to Phil Hesketh. 5th finisher is either going to be Jason Smith or Jonas Mueller. It's going to be Smith. And that'll be the time cap hitting just ahead of where it would have been time for Mueller and Songa to finish. We'll have to see how that plays out for the 6th and 7th in the heat. And this just got interesting in the points race because Rasmus Andersen, first man out, wins the event. Meanwhile, 2nd, 3rd, and 4th in the points were in the back half of this heat.
It was a great job by Rasmus Andersen. He said he was going to do it. He went out there and he did it. And I love the way he did it as well. I think he was probably wondering a little bit, is this going to stick or is anybody going to be able to hold on to me?
Thank you.
So what he did was basically he went unbroken on the first handstand walks. Jonas Mueller came out to a blistering pace right there, and we all thought that he was going to be the man to watch, but he got into trouble a little bit on his handstand walks. At the same time as he was getting into a little bit of trouble, Rasmus Andersen was stringing together both his muscle-ups in short, fast sets, but his handstand walks were unbroken, and that's really what got him ahead. After that, once he got onto the pistols, it was all that.
He called his shot, and it's a 2nd career regional event win for Rasmus Andersen, who's with Nikki Brazier.
Rasmus is holding it down for the big guys out here, and I know that you posted on your social media that you wanted to prove that big guys too can do gymnastics. What did you do to prepare to make sure that you could come out here and prove that?
Well, we are week 3, so pretty quickly when we learned that we're going to have to do obstacle handstand walk, we built a ramp and pretty much have been practicing every single day.
Now, it was a close race between you and Lucas in the lane right next to you the whole time. How do you balance sort of the need to go to win first, but also to avoid fatigue, especially in the shoulders?
Well, I knew Lucas is actually right behind me on the leaderboard, so it was quite important to get ahead of him. And other than that, I really want to get those 100 points to just bump up on the leaderboard. So I don't know, it was a good mix of like wanting to beat Lucas, but at the same time didn't want to push too much to fail the obstacle course.
Well, you did a great job. Nice work.
Thank you. Appreciate it. Thank you.
So an event 3 win for Rasmus Andersen and 100 important points for him as he takes this by 4 seconds over Justin Swart from heat number 3. Rohan Duvenage also in heat number 3, taking the 3rd spot. It'll be Lucas Esslinger and Sam Parkin rounding out the top 5. Elliot Simmons, the points leader, in 6th. And in heat 1, Amin Atala holds on to 7th. So that's an impressive showing for a heat 1 athlete. Phil Hesketh, bubble athlete coming in, rounds out the top 10. So for Rasmus Andersen, 100 key points, likely moves himself into the top 4 as we hit the halfway point on the men's side. We get to event number 3 on the women's side next.